Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the West Podcast special episode today, episode 6, recording on a Sunday. Lots on today's show, absolutely packed. We will not, it's a bit of a different episode today. I have a guest with me today. I'll introduce him in a moment and then we'll kick off. So we won't be doing any results. We're just going to have a bit of a chat, talk about what's going on at the club, some big news yesterday during comp, I hear. So we'll find out about that. And so I'd like to actually welcome my guest, Gerca. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Pap. What's happening over there, mate? I do
Uh,
like now everyone for on the podcast. I do need to report that Pap feels that he's a bit of a John Laws. He's got a gold microphone set up here in his arrangement. It's quite impressive. Like no expense spared. He's just gone the whole hog. Like I'm
and mate,
feeling quite intimidated, Pap.
I'm very glad you said John Laws and not that big dopey person that's on most of the radio stations, Kyle Sanderlands. He's got a gold microphone as well. So I'm happy you went John Laws and not Kyle Sanderlands.
Look, we can all have our thoughts on Cole Sanderlands, mate, but we can't repeat them in this forum.
Exactly right, mate. Exactly right. So welcome to the show, mate. So thank you for jumping on today. So for those of you that don't know Gerca is a past club champion at the West. He's also recently returned to play golf at the West, which has been great. I've played with him a few times in the last couple of months, hitting the ball very well, Gerk, when we played.
Look, mate, things have changed a lot for me in the years with golf, and now, and it was you that was the reason that got me back to the course for last year's challenge event, Pap. So I'm just
Yes.
happy to be out there rolling around with people that I've known for more than probably 30 years now and haven't got around to see and play with everyone. But, mate, just enjoying it, taking it for the break and the relaxation and the getaway. And obviously, at every opportunity, throw as much shade as I can at everyone else.
So nothing's changed in that space, mate, let me tell you. But
Gift
it's
of the
good to have
gab.
you back at the club, mate. Good debate to have you back at the club. So about that, so I'm hearing yesterday there was a bit of a event on the fourth hole. I'm hearing you might have holed out there, mate.
Yeah, that is true. But there's actually something to play out before that because in the esteemed threesome that was in our group, we had Digger Cowan, Humphrey Sterling, and myself. And having the pleasure of playing with Digger last week, did actually have to duck for cover after his tee shot. He just likes to get the old hosel rocket going off the fourth tee. So it creeps into the head. And I said to him last week after that hole, I said, mate, you should club up and just sort of like chip one in there, give it a bit of a play it differently, get it out of your head. So yesterday after the third, we're walking across the top of the bank and I said, mate, chip it, chip it. Oh, yeah, club up, club up. So Digger jumps up and he hit it. He hit it pin high, left of the pin, about 4 meters, middle of the green. I thought it was perfect, like bounced just on the front of the green and rolled up. I'm going, beautiful. That's awesome. Great. Humphrey got up and got out of it early in his swing and blocked it right into the bunker. And
Yep.
then yours truly jumps up. And I was thinking about it this morning and I had a 6-iron in my hand and it was probably, I reckon, 130 to the centre, somewhere near there. And I was just sort of going to adopt the Digger style approach, sort of chip one in there, 3/4, keep it low type scenario.
Yep.
And got over the ball, looked down at the club head and I go, oh, that looks like it's aiming left. Had another look forward. Oh, yeah, no, that's on line. Yep, perfect. And then went through the action, struck it, and it took off left. The breeze was a little bit left to right and was tracking and the breeze, and it was moving towards the pin and pitched on the front of the green, just up over the little false front.
Yep.
And from there, those that probably know the course and that green quite well, it rolls to the right. So it starts rolling to the right, and then it's in line with the pin. And look, because we play a lot of golf, you hit a lot of these shots and they just lip out or stay short. And I'm going, okay, well, that should be close. Next minute, the ball disappeared, just went straight in. So we all looked at each other in disbelief, and there was a few yells and screams and high fives and, yeah, just huge smiles and couldn't believe it. So that's what sort of
No,
played out on the fourth as the third person to hit.
so did you? I have a question. Did you run to the hole, or did you just walk very quickly, or what was this?
No.
No.
We had saw that it had gone in, so we're just like, mate, can you believe it? A hole in one. And then you were referenced as well, Pap, because you've had the pleasure of holding out on that hole in the 90s, I believe.
I have, and the bad thing, the good thing for you, you saw yours go in. I didn't see mine go in.
Well, I did get a vision yesterday of Humphrey what was he, reenacting your actions after you holed out. And to say that you were shaking like a leaf would be an understatement.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he had great pleasure in telling us that you followed up the next hole, the fifth, with a 9. Now, is
9,
there any
yes.
truth in that?
Very, very true. I think I hit my next tee shot. It hit flush into our famous tree, went straight in the
In the
water.
water, yeah, he said it went in the hazard. Yes, yep,
And
good.
then I think I hacked my way up after that and took 9. So that is very true. It was, and I didn't really care what was on the scorecard after that, if I'm
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, no, that's fair enough.
But like I
So,
said,
yeah,
good,
we
good
just
that
walked up to the green, in disbelief, and we're quite excited about it. Digger snapped a few shots and fixed the pitch mark and put the nearest the pin marker in the top of the flag. Digger did, and I was hopeful that Digger would hole his birdie putt, to be honest, because we obviously realised I'd had a 1. If Digger holes his, he has a 2, and I was hoping that Humph would hole his third shot for a 3, so we'd go 1, 2, 3 on the hole, but that didn't play out. So
what did Digger miss the putt, did he?
he made par. He had a very easy par, so he was happy. There was no hosel rocket, so it looks like let's see what he does next week when he gets on that tee. And Humphrey unfortunately missed his par and tapped in for a bogey.
They're pretty hot group, that. 3 ex-club champs, though, isn't there? You've all won a club championships, at least one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
actually thinking hot group, Pap. Yeah, great call. There was a hole there yesterday that all three of us hit it to 100 metres out and none of us made par. And then there was another hole where we did something similar. None of us hit the green on a par 3 and all made par. I think it was 12. We all missed the green and all made par. So, yeah, hot, real on fire, mate.
No, but the history shows, mate, 3 ex-club champs. You got to be doing something right to win a club champ at the West, let me tell you, because it's not easy. You won yours in what, 95, was it, I think?
97, and
97.
that's, 97. And I can't remember too much of the rounds, to be honest, other than the last one where I lost the ball off the first tee, first shot, and had to race back to the tee to start again. So that's the
Not a bit
highlight for me with the clubbies.
Yeah. So just on that then, tell me, 97 to 2023-24, what's changed at the West?
Oh, mate. Obviously, I guess the physical changes where you've had the dams have all been put in. The grass coverage is amazing. And obviously, I've been playing quite a bit of golf with Humphrey over the last few months. And I reckon every round, just play it as it lies. And Humphrey's going, oh, that's not a great lie. I go, mate, wind the clock back 30 years. I go, this is gold to
Yeah.
what it used to be like. So the grass coverage is amazing. And obviously the volunteers that go out there and do what they do, and I've had the pleasure of playing with Moose and Digger, and they'll be busy driving off on the hole we're playing to another hole to switch on sprinklers and check leaks and all this sort of stuff. So it's just an endless task that they undertake to get the course in the condition that it is. So the coverage of the grass is amazing to what I recall it being all those years ago.
Yeah, we used to get the big, massive crack where the ball would sit in the middle of the fairway.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now there's an abundance of water. The hazard on 7, Pap, you could comment on that because it's not between your ears at all every time you get on that hole, is it? From what I hear.
It's a great hole that. I go right every time straight in that water, and it's either a take 5 easy or a 7 or an 8 for me.
Yeah.
Every week.
Mate, and then the next hole, the 8th, what's become interesting for me coming back to the club is how in play now that hazard or that dam is on the right-hand side on 9, in between 8 and 9. Like, I reckon back in the day, a great tee shot would have just got past the gum tree. Whereas roughly thinking gum tree now to the end of that dam on the 8th, if you're playing the 8th hole, it's probably 35, maybe 40 metres. It's in play, and the younger kids are tonking it in there and dropping it out. And even myself, I sometimes hit hybrid off that tee now just to take the dam out of play.
Well, I've seen young Jack Cowan because, as you know, I play a bit of golf with
Yeah,
Jackie Boy. I've seen him pass that damn twice off the back tees.
yeah,
So
it's
you're
amazing.
100% right, and it does show you not only these kids these days how well they can hit the ball, but the advancement in golf equipment as well, as you would well know, being the head of Mizuno
Yeah,
in Australia. But you see the advancement in the balls, the equipment, the clubs we use. I mean, I'm a
yeah,
lot older as are you, but I mean, I don't hit it as far as I used to. I just
yeah,
can't. But these
yeah.
young kids hit it that far. It's ridiculous sometimes.
Oh,
And you're
mate,
right,
the
that
young
has it.
kids.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that
go,
has
Pat.
something every time when you
Yeah,
hit off that back tee for any of those younger kids, or
yeah,
like Tommy, or the people that can hit a long ball,
yeah,
yourself included. It comes into play.
yeah,
But back in the day, that wasn't even in your mind. You were jumping up and down, like you said, if you got to the gum tree.
yeah,
He was like, "How
exactly.
far did I just hit it? Look how far I just hit it." Not
Yeah.
these days.
No, and to your point about technology, obviously the golf balls had quite a bit to do with it, and I don't know a whole lot about the technology of golf balls to be honest. But you hear what they talk on PGA Tour and the wind back and all this sort of stuff.
Yep,
But what I've also noticed, coming back to your original question, is that guys that I'm playing with now that I would have played with a handful of times back 30, 25, 30 years ago, they are hitting the ball so much further, And I recall, and a classic is Leo Shags.
yep,
Back in the day, I wouldn't have even considered that Leo would be anywhere near me. Where I've played a fair few times with Leo in the recent months, and there's a couple of times there he's outdriven me, and I'm just like, technology is amazing. It says a lot for getting the right gear these days and investing in your game for enjoyment and. Mate, to see Shags the way he rips around through the ball and steps off it because of his situation, and then bunts one down there, bloody 20 past me. I'm like, mate, this is unbelievable. I love it. It's great for the
yeah,
game.
yeah. No, it is. I agree, mate. I absolutely agree.
Mm.
So, but yeah, like you said, mate, courses. I was kind of the same situation. I hadn't played at the course since probably '95, maybe
Yeah,
four. And I took my golf clubs down one time down the Caravan, Port Arlington, where we go spend our summers, and had a hit with the boys down there, and kind of got the bug back and went for a hit down the west on a Sunday arvo, and I think it was a Sunday arvo after the Mick Cox day, so it was a lot of people about, but we went and had a little bit of a social hit, and I just walked around and couldn't believe how good the course was. I mean, when you hadn't been there for so long, like we haven't,
yeah.
and I couldn't get into the pro shop quick enough to get a bloody membership form. So,
And
yeah,
Pap, I think to the comments you've made there about the situations that both you and I, as past members, have encountered, playing with a group of the guys from Melton. I can't remember their name a few months ago, hitting off at 9:30, and oh yeah, we left Melton. They were putting the fees up, and the course is terrible, and we've been here for 2 years, and it's great. So there's people coming from other golf courses as well to play at the West, whereas you can hear me giggle.
yeah,
25, 30
'cause
years ago, no
yeah.
chance, no
Well,
chance.
look at myself. I mean, I left the West to go and play at Medway
Yeah,
because Medway at the time was a better course.
yeah,
But now, not that I've been to Medway, I haven't been there. It's probably still ripper of a course, but I mean, for the money we pay at the West, it's the best value membership I think in Victoria, is my view. For what we
oh
get served up every week,
yeah.
that
And look,
course
Pat,
is just ridiculously good.
just on the Medway thing, mate, I believe they have a policy of no visible tattoos, so
Oh,
you'd be
no,
in strife.
no. Yeah, if they've got that policy, I've got no chance of no one
Yeah,
second me to get in there. But
mate, you
anyway,
could wrap yourself up as a mummy, you might get away with it.
exactly, mate. But it has changed over the years, and it's changed way for the better. I mean, and like you touched on earlier, mate, the guys that volunteer at that place, from Moose Dino to down to Roger, Frankie, all the boys, the Mui, everyone that goes every week. And as everyone knows, I've mentioned before, my son Bailey goes every week and now starting to go twice a week because he's finished school. I mean, the work that they put in there is, I mean, astronomical. I watched Bailey and Digger repair a leak the other week, and I've never seen anyone repair a leak in a pipe. And it's not a easy 5 minute job.
Yeah,
It's a bust your backside and get your hands and the rest of you very dirty doing it. So, but those little things that myself included, we all kind of tend to forget about it because it's out of sight, out of mind, right? So you don't think about it, but
Correct.
Just those little jobs that we go, oh, there's a leak there, and then next week we walk past and we don't even say, oh, there was a leak there last week because someone's gone and fixed it, or the greens have been cut and rolled beautifully and all that type of stuff. So there's a lot of effort that goes in, and a
And
lot of
Pat,
people's time.
there is an amazing situation that you will see when you get out to the fourth tee, because I've seen it in the last 2 weeks. Playing with Digger last week, there was a big slab of concrete there. There was some like backfill or landfill just dropped there. And I go, what's going on here? He
Yep.
goes, oh, we're going to level it all out and bring it to the right and do all of this. Go there
Yep.
yesterday and it's leveled, it's got sand on it. And I'm going, mate, who frigging did this? This would have taken hours. He goes, oh, Wellesley had a crack at it. I'm going, had a crack at it? Mate, he's
Yep.
nailed it. It's perfect,
Yeah, the VP's out there. Yep. Yep. And we
so
forget
it's like,
we always
oh,
forget Wellesley. Sorry to cut you off, but Wellesley goes out and cuts a bloody holes every week. So I mean, that in itself is a monstrous job every week or second week to change those pins around. It's not a 5-minute job. So yeah, all
no.
those things, mate, we just don't see, do we?
And Pat, the interesting thing that we're touching on is that we're talking about physical changes, and it would be remiss and a little dismissive of me not to mention, and you may think similarly as well. However, the people haven't changed. Call it as you
No.
see it, down to
Yep.
earth,
Yep.
salt of
Good.
the earth, just good
Yeah.
individuals and humans, do anything for
100%.
anyone,
Yep.
and you just feel at home. It's like you've never been away. That's how I
Yep.
feel going back. The
Yep.
unfortunate thing is there's not a lot of people there that I knew back in the day.
Yep.
They've now gone, but that's okay. And whether they're
Yep.
playing golf elsewhere or departed and gone on their celestial journey, I don't know. But new
Yep.
people are coming up, and apologies, I don't know everyone. And g'day mate, how you going? So, it's
Yep.
just down to earth, and that's the best thing about it. Escapism for me. I live in Point Cook, so it's 45-minute drive. Get out of the rat race in suburbia here in Melbourne and go walk around the West and just down to earth with your mates. It's great. I
Yep.
love it.
Yeah, and you're spot on. I mean, the club's always been like that, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Been great people that are there, still are great people. And it's
yeah,
just, yeah. And mate, I'm pretty much the same. We all want to play good golf and have a good score and get our names up in lights and get that voucher. But at the end of the day, as long as we can, switch off from everything and don't worry about work, or even, sometimes what's going on at home, it just gets you out there with your mates, have a laugh. I think is the
yeah.
biggest thing for me, just to laugh at people. I mean, I gave an example a few weeks on the podcast, mate, when we played together. I mean, as much as I probably shouldn't have laughed that you're going down 16, but it was very hard not to. You know what I mean? But at the end of
Mate, I
the
was
day,
laughing at myself.
exactly right. At the end of the day, we're out there having a good time. We're having a laugh, and that's all that mattered, mate.
Yeah,
So
and just for the record and the listeners, it was 11 on the 13th as well. I think you might have gone one or two higher, but
I've possibly exaggerated a little bit. Yeah,
yeah,
quite
that's
possibly.
okay. But I've got to tell you, you weren't laughing at that point. I think if you could pick your jaw up off the fairway, mate, because you were aghast, going, what the hell is going on here? But, mate, yeah, I was laughing at myself at
Pretty much.
16, so that's all you can do.
I think we could though, Gerca, on 16. I think we could though, right? Because on 13, you were playing some good golf up until that point, and that was I think you're right. It was more shock. I was like, Gerk, don't come on, fix it. But
Yeah.
by 16, it didn't really matter after 13, 14.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it
no,
was
the
one of those
11,
days for you,
and
mate.
not playing regular golf over the last 20 odd years, I can't ever recall having a double figure hole until that one. So it's one for the record books, that's for sure.
It was interesting day, that one. Very interesting. First round of
Yeah.
club champs.
Well, you went out
Yeah,
and did
very.
what you had to do, shot under 70 net. So you did well. Good work.
69 and then couldn't play. It was very sad when I got home that day, let me tell you. I was trying to defend it too.
Yeah,
Back to back
well,
B grade and couldn't do it. But anyway, these things happen.
exactly.
Had to have the surgery for the better, so that's
Yeah,
the main thing. All
yeah,
good. But I'll be back soon, let's hope.
yeah, for sure. Good to see you up there, mate. Well, next Sunday we'll be up there, won't we, running around?
We will, mate, and that's a good segue into what we're going to chat about. So next Sunday, as most of you and the listeners will know, is we've been talking about it on the podcast for a fair bit. There's been a lot going on at the golf club about it. There's been a heap of work behind the scenes, let me tell you, in the last couple of weeks. We have the Jared Challenge Day. So it's going to be a massive day. As of this morning, Girk, we had 160 people booked in. for both AM, PM spots. So from memory, we've got about 16 or 18 spots left only. So it promises to be this probably one of the biggest days of the year for the club. So if
Pat,
you're not, yes, mate, go for it.
that sounds like the MCG packed out standing room tickets only.
Pretty much, mate. It pretty
Wow.
much is. It's going to be huge. I mean, we've got. I'll just run through a few things I've got in front of me. So we've got, for those who are coffee lovers, coffee vans there from 6:30 a.m. You can check in from about 7 a.m. You'll get checked in. You'll get a goodies bag, which I had a look at today. You'll get one of those. We'll have a massive merch table set up. So I'm literally sitting here now looking at boxes upon boxes of merch in my little hidey hole study here. So I've got oh, I think about 400 pieces of merch with me. So there's some has been dropped down to the golf club this morning. So if you want to get some merch from the golf club, there are the challenge merch is there. Also, we have the Mizuno Luke challenge shirts. So they're the beautiful shirts, yellow shirts. So Gerca, remind me how much money that goes to Mizuno and how much money, to cover the cost for the shirt and how much money goes to challenge.
Yep. So we struck that in consultation with Challenge. We consulted with them. They approved the colour. We've manufactured them overseas. 35% of the purchase price goes to Challenge. The rest of the funds covers the cost of the polo shirt.
Beautiful. And I do know we have sold some of them already. So I know there was a lot of people. I was there today, and I was in the pro shop for maybe an hour and a half. And I saw, I'm going to say, 4 people try the sizes on. So not sure how many of those have purchased, but they are very high quality shirts, and they look awesome. So if you are down the club, anybody, have a look at the merch. Grab yourself some merch. Grab yourself a shirt ready for the day. If you're not to the club before next Sunday, all of them shirts, merch, everything will be available for everybody to purchase on the day. So we are running the AM PM will have its own nearest to pins. I think we're going to chuck a longest drive or a straightest drive out there. We'll confirm that Saturday, but we'll fill you in as you register.
Yep.
Um, and then we've got also big news on the 6th hole. I'm hearing, mate. You want to fill us in what we're doing there?
Yeah, so I've spoken to a couple of golf pros in the industry that I know and have requested on my knees for them to give us a bit of a chop out, scratch my back, I've scratched yours type scenario.
Yep.
So I've been able to get 2 golf pros commit, one for the AM tee times and then one for the PM tee times, where they will set themselves up on the white tee.
Yep.
And as you come off the 5th green, you can come straight across to that white tee, pay $25 for them to, which is a donation to the foundation, the Challenge Foundation.
Yep.
But the pro will basically hit your tee shot for you on that hole. In the event that you're not in a position to make the $25 donation to the foundation, you're then going to be requested to move back 30 to 35 metres and play your own tee shot from the blue tees.
So
So
instead of hitting a 3-wood or a driver for some, I know sometimes there's a driver for me, showing
yeah,
how long I can hit the ball. You can potentially have a pro hit from the white tee and nearly guarantee you've been on the green.
I would say you're going to be on the green no matter what. And look,
There you
Pat,
go.
I've been in the involved with the Allenby Challenge Day at Yarra Yarra every year as well. And
And that is
these are
their
the
biggest day, is it not? The challenge groups.
sorry, mate.
That is their biggest golf day, isn't it, throughout the year?
And look, just a little bit on. I'll just finish on that piece, and I'll come back to that Allenby piece.
Yep.
But they run those sorts of events, and just for participants next Sunday, $25. Don't think you'll only get one shot, and if he misses the green, I will be standing there as well, and he will have his ear twisted off until he hits a ball that lands on the green. Okay,
Yep.
so we'll
Cool.
make sure that you get a ball on the green for your donation. It's very much appreciated by the foundation, and I'm
Yeah.
sure the pro will hone himself in. And with the amount of players going through there, mate, there's every chance that one could go in the hole. To be honest, you never
Well,
know.
I was just going to say, if the pro's getting a bit tired, we could get the hole-in-one specialist to get up and hit a couple for us, mate, too. If you're standing there all day.
Oh, yeah. Look, I'd probably have to go back to the blues and hit the same club. I would be out of sorts off the whites, mate. It'd be too short an iron for me.
No, hey, take your own advice, mate. Just chip it up there. Nice little chip
Yeah,
up.
there we go. Now, Pap, you mentioned about the Allenby Day.
Yeah.
Look, Mizuno and myself have been involved with that day for about 7 or 8 years. I've been involved with Challenge for over 10 years now. But that Allenby Day, and it's aligned with Robert Allenby, Australian professional golfer, got the Triple Crown here in Australia several years ago, has got some misdemeanors in society that people ridicule him for, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But me personally, I find it very hard to knock the bloke because that event has been run for 30 years. This year will be the 31st year.
Wow.
And that event has raised more than $35 million for the Challenge Foundation over its journey.
Wow.
So it's just
That's good.
unbelievable how Dave Rogers gets involved, Walshy gets involved, the whole Challenge team come together. Woody from Focus Promotions that organises the prizes and the tea times and all that sort of stuff as well. Like you've experienced, Pat, this sorts of events just don't happen by one individual. It's a group of people that get
Yeah,
together
absolutely.
and chip in and muck in and do what needs to be done. So the Allenby Day, they play every year at Yarra Yarra, where he was a member when he was an amateur.
Yep.
And Rob hasn't been able to come back the last couple of years, and obviously with COVID, and then I think last year he'd had a back surgery, so he wasn't able to travel. I don't know whether he's going to be there in a few weeks' time when the event's on November 25, but they
Yep.
do it differently. I think it's 220 players they put through the course. It does take a long time to play. And then everyone fronts up for a gala dinner evening as well, where more funds are raised, prizes are given out to the winners. There's silent auctions, there's charity auctions, and funny for me to say, but some of the auction stuff and items that I've heard over the years just absolutely curls your hair. What they can get. Jack Nicklaus, play around the golf with Jack Nicklaus at the Bear Club in the USA.
Wow.
Tickets to the Masters, do this, do that, and these prizes go for tens of thousands of dollars
I could imagine.
over the years. So, hence the reason it raises that amount of money.
Yep.
And celebrities that are there, like Ian Baker Finch, Tom Gleisner's on the board of Challenge. Andy Lee's an ambassador.
Yep.
Andrew Gaze is an ambassador of Challenge. Jared Lyle, when he was with us, he would be down there because he's been a beneficiary of the Challenge Foundation over the years.
Yep.
And hence, with his passing, now it's sort of turned to it's doing it for Jared, which is the day next Sunday.
Yep.
And look, being aware of a little bit of the information that Challenge have shared over the years that I've been in their events or been involved with their events, next week is raising funds not only for unwell children that have leukemia that could be terminal, to provide them lifelong wishes. Go to Disneyland, go to Movie World on the Gold Coast, go parasailing or do parachuting or something like that.
Yep.
But it's also to support the families and it's a polarizing statistic for me to hear. Before COVID, the Challenge Foundation were reporting that when there was a diagnosis of a child with leukemia, the separation rate was 65% of families would separate just due to the challenges and all the extra burden that is put on the family.
Yep.
Then COVID hit, and Dave Rogers was talking at an event and said, unfortunately, with COVID, just due to lack of being able to get out and do things and stuff like that, the rate has increased up to 75%. Now, Challenge use these funds for the kids, whether they're terminal or not, to provide them some wishes and some good instances and experiences. But Challenge also buy some houses around Victoria, Melbourne, maybe Australia, or timeshare. And what they try and do is support the family as well as the unwell child.
Yep.
And it can be, if you're a family with an unwell child, you may be gifted through the Challenge Foundation a weekend away for you and your partner, just to get a break from all the hospital visits, the doctor's appointments, all the medical treatments that are undertaken for an unwell child. So it's not only going to kids, all the funds that are being raised, it's going to the families to try and keep the families together as well, to keep that connection,
Yeah,
so
exactly right, mate. And
pretty
look, the big
tough.
thing, Yeah, it is. And I don't, for lack of repeating myself here, I've probably mentioned it on the podcast earlier, in an earlier episode, but it's the reason I kind of got involved when I went back to the West and got back into golf and knew that this event was available to golf clubs to run, and took it to the committee and said, look, can we start running it? And this is our second year as a club running it. Obviously, we did it last year as well, but wasn't as big a beast as it was last year than this year. So it's gone tenfold this year, which is great. But just like a personal story for me is many years ago, and like again, I'm probably repeating myself, but it was probably 14 years ago now. My boy Bailey, my oldest one, has some challenges in his life to begin with, but was diagnosed with ITP, which in short takes you to the cancer ward in the children's, to get treatment. So it's not a form of cancer or anything, but that's where your treatment is. So I sat in that room one day, with my wife and Bailey, waiting to see a cancer specialist, on the plan of action to treat what Bailey had. And by all means, what Bailey had was dangerous, but it was not life threatening. Well, it was life threatening, but it wasn't terminal. So it was treatable, and there was it's always a good outcome at the end. But we sat in that room, and to this day, even though 14 years ago, I can still picture a young boy, would have been lucky to be 12, with his parents sitting there waiting, same as us, to see a specialist. And that young boy was, as bad as it sounds, probably would have had weeks to live.
Mm.
And his parents were absolutely broken.
Yeah.
And to sit there and witness that, and as you would know, mate, you've got your own family. You sit there and go, how tough would that be? And that was kind of my motivation to go, we can, even if it's raising $20, we can make a difference. So, to your point earlier on, with all the great things that this foundation do for not only the kids that, and no one deserves it, let alone kids, to be sitting there with leukemia, but it's also very tough for their families. So on the challenge day that we're holding, if you can buy the merch, if you can take that $25 out your pocket and get a ball on the green, or buy some raffle tickets, and on that, as Gerca, I met with Steve Walsh from
Yeah.
Challenge a week or so ago after flicking him a few emails about our event. He's been kind enough to not only give us, a truckload of merch on consignment, which I do know they don't usually do, but because our event is so large, he's decided that we could do that. He's not only done that, he's actually donated, 2 nights at the Trevor Barker House, like you were talking about
Yeah.
earlier, the Trevor Barker House down in Torquay. So that's going to be raffled off as well. So that, it's a beautiful property. If anyone wants to have a look at it, jump on the challenge website. The link is up there. But I did drop a flyer off today down the golf club so we can start selling some raffle tickets, and there are some images on that flyer as well. And that's up for grabs, as well as a merch pack and a beautiful bottle of Shivers Regal. And we will have, one of our other sponsors. I know Mizuno, our major sponsor, and we will talk about that in a second. But one of our other sponsors, Boyle's Golf Shed, has kindly donated a set of clubs as well, and we will be somehow raffling those off on the day. More than likely, like we do for those who are at the club, like we do the swindle, you'll be able to pick some spots off a sheet, pay for those spots, and we'll spin the wheel.
Yeah.
And whoever's lucky enough to get that number come up will win themselves a set of golf clubs. So, we'll be getting those this week, as far as I'm aware. So I'm not sure what they are, but a very generous donation of Boyles, which moves me on to our prizes. So our prizes on the day, like I just said, have been kindly donated by Mizuno Golf, and with the help of my guest today, Gerca, very generously donated the prizes for the day. So I will recap them again, so everyone's fully aware. And like I said, we do have some spots left. So if you happen to be listening to this podcast and you are not booked in, you better get in quick, because the prizes on offer are massive. They are as follows. First prize is 2 fully fitted sets of Mizuno irons. Second prize is a fully fitted Mizuno driver for each player in the 2. And third prize is a Mizuno staff bag. So those prizes within themselves are awesome. So it is well worth coming and having a crack if you haven't already booked. And even if you don't play well in the day, like me and Gerca were talking about, it's a day to support the foundation, have a bit of a laugh. There's going to be a barbie going. There's heaps of stuff going on. And as Gerka said earlier on, and I'll touch on it now too, is that these events don't just kind of happen themselves. It might be the idea might be born from someone, or maybe we should do this, but without people like Gerka and Mizuno, Boyles, you know, Walshy from Challenge, the people at the West, like Heathy's gone, I'll help with this. The lady's making salad. Linny's been 4,000 messages, and that was probably one from her then. It's just like heaps and heaps of people that get involved with it. Moose has been in touch with Boyles. He's got the nearest to pin prizes for us. There's so many people, and even the volunteers, they know the day's coming up, and they're out there making the course look mint and making sure everything's all good. So, I mean, I've probably forgotten people so far, but again, my family's coming down on the day. My kids have all got jobs already on the list that me and Linny have put together, and my wife's there going to do the barbecue. And it takes, a lot of people to run these events. So hopefully we can get plenty of funds raised for a ripper foundation that do a lot of good things.
Yeah, Pap and mate, I guess you're the stalwart or the driver behind it, and I guess you got to pat yourself on the back at some point, and I guess you'll do that once you've been able to tally the amount of funds that have been generated from the event, and just go, wow.
Oh, that's right, mate. I mean,
You
last year
know,
we raised about $2,800 from memory. I have got it somewhere, but roughly there.
yeah,
So this year, I mean, for me, I would have been happy to raise exactly the same amount, but
yeah,
the more the better, mate. But
yeah.
yeah, it's going to be a huge day, which is really good.
And look, Pap, you shared your personal journey there on why you're involved in the day. And if I could just quickly give you a snapshot of why I'm involved,
Yeah,
I do
please.
have two kids, and touch wood, they've been healthy, no physical issues or anything. And at 16 and 17, I wouldn't say that you're in the clear. They're always kids, so they can have health issues at any time.
Yep.
Um, and it's fair to say that I personally look at the situation and go, I've been blessed, but geez, I could not imagine what it must be like to have an unwell child and then to have an unwell terminal child. So when you're in a position that you can do something to improve a situation for someone, I just feel that that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And having been involved with that Allenby Day for so many years, and now outside of the Allenby Day, speaking with Challenge about the polo shirts, and we've just done some laces for the Challenge Foundation as well.
Oh,
Dave Rogers was over in Japan, saw some Mizuno laces. Gert, can I get these in yellow? Yep. How many do you want? I'll purchase them. No, you won't. We got the laces in. I just gifted them to him. Go and do what you want to do. And if it works out, then we can discuss it later. It's all helping the foundation just so that they can change people's lives or have a positive effect. So
yep.
that's the reason that I do it as well. I've not been in your situation, Pap, and haven't been in any of the challenge recipient family that receive the benefits from the foundation on what they do. So
Yep.
I don't know that I'm going to keep it at bay, but mate, you just pay it forward. You never know what will happen and what will
No,
come.
and that's right, Girk. You're 100% right, and that's a really good point, mate. And it's a good view to have, because if you do these little things, mate, when you need the chop out or the help or something in
Yeah,
your life happens, you would hope others do the same. So no,
yeah.
agree, mate. 100%
And
agree. But promises to be a big day, that's for sure. It's going to be a
oh,
long day.
yeah, it'll be a long day, mate. I might find you sleeping under the frigging veranda somewhere on the chair.
I might park myself out the back there after the Arvo T guys hit off and just watch everyone come through the night and just relax, and I may fall asleep every chance.
Never
So
know.
someone can wake me up for presentation. I'll be right.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a big event. And look, Pap, not having been around the club for so long, do we know if they've had an event of this magnitude in the years gone by or ever? I wouldn't have a clue.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure. I know Moose was saying that I know this year's Mick Cox event was big, as it is every single year. But I'm pretty sure this may have surpassed the amount of people that we've got
Yeah.
um, booked in. So I think it's bigger than that. Um, but yeah, I don't know the answer to that. All I do know, though, that we are at some stage maybe bringing back our spring tournament or carnival of golf or something. We've had a few chats about that. Maybe I should or shouldn't have said that, but anyway, that has been a bit of an agenda. So hopefully we might have that rocking and rolling again, because the old spring tournament used to be a good day.
Yes, yes. I do recall playing well in one of those, but not winning it. But yeah, it was 36 holes in the one day.
It was.
Fair West feast for lunch, cut sandwiches and a few sweet delights, and then roll back out. And I literally roll back out to the tee and go around again and see how you fare.
And that was, from memory, that was sponsored by Peter Guinera down at Guinera's.
Yes,
Yeah,
Retrovision.
Retrovision. That's right. I was trying to think what it was.
Yeah, Guinera's
Yeah,
You're right. Yes,
yeah,
spot
big,
on.
big sponsor, wasn't he? We had the TVs on offer and all sorts of stuff for that tournament.
Mate, I reckon one year I came away with a spade. I won a spade. I've still got it today and have used it around my house and everything for work that I've been doing.
Oh, that's classic.
Mm.
Classic, isn't it? The good old days, mate. The good old days.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
So, mate, reliving it now and obviously reconnecting with some people that were there when I was there and finding some new faces and new friends and just enjoying it. That's
Yeah.
what it's about.
That's it, mate.
Having a giggle.
Yep, exactly right, mate. Exactly right. All right, mate. Well, we might call it quits for today, but will you do me the honour of joining me again, and we can chat a bit more about. I'd like to find out a bit more about what you do, how you got into Mizuno, and also your previous life as a caddy, mate. So I think that'd be interesting for the listeners.
Yes, mate. I was thinking yesterday, and Digger commented on it yesterday. We were going up. We were just on 17, and we hit a shot up 17. And he was saying the week prior where it hit into the bunker, I said, mate, driver's too much stick here. You don't need it. He's going, what do you mean? I said, mate, bunt a hybrid or a long iron here. You're 100 out, hit a wedge in. He goes, oh, I don't think that way. I go, mate, I never used to think that way before I caddied either.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
mate,
yeah.
happy to get on and share some intel and knowledge with the listeners. No
That'd be good,
concern.
because it'd be interesting. What I'd probably like to do, give you time to have a think about it, is let's play the course, and what you would agree to or tell someone if you're caddying for them what clubs to hit where.
Yeah. No, that'd be
That'd be
fine, mate.
good bit of info for the juniors too, I think.
Yeah, and look, mate, we were young when we played there back in the 90s, Pap. Not as young as the kids now, like the Mitches and the Smooches and the H's, and Kira as well, and Harper. But in our 20s, it was just driver all day, blast away,
Yep, 100%.
But now, having been out on the tour and caddied for handful 6-8 years sort of scenario, yeah, I have a different approach to the way I map my way around the course. But it doesn't matter how the best laid plans you have. You hit one over the back on 13, first round of clubbies, and could very easily rack up a double figure. No problem, mate.
Yes, so we witnessed. Yes, very good point, mate.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
no, would be happy to come back on and share some of my knowledge and understanding and learnings for sure.
No, that'd be good, mate. I look forward to that, and I'm sure the listeners will too.
All
So it'd be a pleasure to have you, mate. Pleasure, absolute pleasure. So
and look, Pap, happy to keep your podcast going, Pap. He texted me yesterday after my result, and I rang him, and we were talking. And I said, Pap, mate, I went on Wednesday looking for the podcast. Where is it? And he goes, oh, Zach's away. I said, mate, if you need me to get on and do something, you've got to keep the wheels moving,
We do, yes, we do. Very good point, mate.
Hence the reason we're on a Sunday arvo, just Pap in his recovery instead of just staring at the ceiling flat on his back. This gives him something to do. We now spend hours editing it and uploading it. So to all the listeners out there, download it, pass it to your friends. He's got to get into the analytics. And
that's it. I love the analytics. Yes.
I heard Zach baking you over the analytics, so that's what it's all about, Pap.
He did,
and
yes.
Look,
I love them.
Mate, if I'm on a podcast, you might hit a record 3 downloads. So enjoy that analytic, all right?
We'll have to keep an eye and see if it spikes, mate. I'll let you know.
Oh, mate, I'll be broadcasting it all over the country to all the golf accounts. There you go. It'll spike. Don't worry.
Chuck it up on the Mizuno page. There we go. We'll get 1,000 hits. Beautiful, mate. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, mate, and we'll talk to you very soon.
Cheers, mate. Speak to you. See you, buddy.
All right, buddy. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoy the episode, and we'll be back next week. Thanks, guys. Bye.